we have to look at the definition and functions of the word bursary. Today's definition of bursary is not the definition of bursary during my time. And comparing bursary of today and compare with the bursary of my time, I would wish that bursary reverts itself to its proper use, which is bursary of my time. If they continue the way they are continuing, then I would rather they do away with the bursary. My understanding of the word and the uses of bursary during my time in school was that it was funds set aside by the education ministry to address to those students who cannot afford part or whole of their fees. Swahili say vidola vitoshani. Each student has different needs. We have families that can afford to pay the full fees. God knows we have even some families which can pay their fees and still look aside and pay fees for kids, either friends, relatives, or even strangers. So you find that those people who can afford to pay their fees, basically, or they can even afford to pay part or all of other kids, their needs are on one extent. We have other families where they cannot even afford buying biros, leave alone uniform. So my understanding of bursary is we look at each and every child. The one who needs zero, the parents can pay or anything, not even pay. There are even some the parents can even pay for somebody else. Should be given nothing. And those whose parents cannot even afford to buy a pencil. Some people say, and they are bright. I don't like the idea of bright. Even those students who are not bright, they deserve education. So it should not be said that a bright student with no fees should. If you can, pay for a child who needs education, whether he's bright or not, all childs are equal. After all, you cannot blame a child for not being bright, isn't it? So we should not we should have that type of bursary, whereby somebody somewhere, we are being told the university, whatever, they have come with a computerized, what do you call it? Funding model which comes up and correctly predicts the students' background and whatever. Can we have that one in secondary schools, whereby they just look at a student and feed their computers, and computer says the parents of this kid can afford zero, or the parents of these kids can afford 99%, so that the kid is given according to the needs. We have today's bursary a condition that a parent or a guardian must be a registered voter in a certain area. You see, this is a child whose constitutional right of education is tied to a parent or a guardian being a registered voter in a certain region, a certain constituency or ward. First of all, your constitutional right does not have to have conditions. Two, even in other places where you have conditions, why should you be conditioned on somebody else? Well, if they say that a child must be a Kenyan citizen or whatever, yeah, that is okay. But we have parents or guardians who are Shakahola type. Now, the child may not be a Shakahola type, or in law, a child who is under 18 cannot be judged on anything. Still a child. Now, that is a child who is supposed to get bursaries, and you have to place the condition that the child has to be, the parent or the guardian has to be a registered voter in a certain place. It is also discriminatory because take two kids who are born in the same place, let's say in an urban area. One kid basically is from Asal area, and another one comes from non-Asal area. You find that the one from Asal area is paid the whole school fees, and in fact, the whole school fees until some money remains, and he or she ends up every year getting a brand new uniform. A brand new uniform. But the one from his neighbor, let us talk of in urban areas, his neighbor comes from non-Asal area, they are given 3 or even 5,000 shillings bazaar. But this other one, because the originally they are from Asal area and the parent or guardian is a registered voter in an Asal area, he or she, the student, is given complete fees, which includes complete fees that includes a new pair of uniform each and every year. The two kids, as I've said, may be classmates. May be classmates. We have many organizations offering bursaries. Let me not talk about non-governmental or community-based. No, let us talk about organizations that are offering bursaries from the government. The most known is the CDF. A slice sponsor or parent can get his or her child fully paid by various boards. That slice sponsor will apply. You find the governor's bursary. These are especially the political activists. He or she is known by the governor. He or she is known by the women rep. He or she is known by the MP. He or she is known by the MCA. How many are those? MCA, MP, governor, senator. Those are 4. 4 times 5, that is 20,000. Almost more than half the fees. What's more, as I said, even after going around all those people, you go to governor, you are given something. You go to senator, you are given 5,000. You go to MP, CDF, you are given 5. MCA, women rep, you get 40,000. And I think in a boarding school, the school fees is 40,000. You already got a half of what you want. I remember I was given a form after lining up for a whole day. Imagine you line up the whole day. I had to send the form. You go to the CDF place, you are given a form. You had to get a form. After being given the form, you take it through parcel to the school bazaar. The school bazaar fills in that form, stamps it. Then you had to also send some money to the school bazaar for him to pay for the parcel from wherever your child is schooling. And you know, school bazaar doesn't pay for that. You pay, you line up the whole day to get the form. The following day, you go to this parcel people, you send it to the school. That same evening, the bazaar fills in the form. The fourth day, he sends it, you pay for that. And then I had to pay for the document to be brought back. I gave it to the CDF on the day that the 5 days, that the 5,000 was to be ready. Are you getting me? I'm saying here that I went line up, was given a form, took it to the shuttle people. They took it there at my expense. You see, that whole day I had lined up. Then took it to the shuttle. The bazaar had to fill in the forms and attach whatever, fee structure, whatever, then send it back to me. Then on the fifth day, I was to line up again to give it back to the CDF. Stay for so many days. Then later I was told that we were told that the bursaries were out. Then go there, line up to see if you are paid. How many days are those? And how much money have you spent? Now tell me, reduce that one from the amount you'd be given. The 5,000 you are given, suppose you worked on that day, Mujengo is 500. Sending the parcel and coming back and whatever is another 500. Lining up for the second day, the third day, those are 3,000 shillings. You get 5,000. Imagine you doing that. You spend 3,000 to get a check of 5,000. And I did not have one kid. And then when it comes back, you are told a parent with more kids, you have to choose one kid to be. Remember the video I had recorded about bursaries? Mama Watoto had applied through GAF the two boys. So when you go to ask for the two boys, you'll be discovered to be having two. One may be cancelled. So we agreed that I go and inquire about one boy, and she go and inquires about the other boy. But it ended up only one boy was. The good thing about bursaries is she did not give out 5,000 like MPs. She gave 10,000. And again, the good thing about bursaries with her GAF is that this issue of now taking the form to the school through, it is just that the forms were filled and then an SMS was sent, come and take your bursary. So you can see that you do all that time, you do all those things, and then you are given an amount where it is fraction of that. Another thing I want to I'm reminding myself, is the case of a police officer. There is a police officer who had a case. I don't know whether the case ended or it is still there. This police officer had arranged for a way where his fees was, there was an arrangement where he was given money for school fees, which was in excess of what his child wanted. Let us say that in realizing that the police are doing a good job, maybe they were given 45,000 and the school needs 40,000. So he took the check to the school and talked to the bazaar to address on the issues of the 5,000. But the bazaar said that the only money that can be refunded is the money which is given in cash. You see, we can write that you gave excess and we refund, but the money that comes from something like CDF and it is given in full, where do I get the money? A heated argument arose, and then the policeman assaulted the bazaar, and the case was taken to court because of an assault. That is what I was saying. Some people are overpaid, others are being paid less. It is really unfair. It is really unfair. That is what we call reverse what? Uh, people are liked, and then we do it the reverse. When we want the other areas to catch up, we don't have to. Yeah, reverse discrimination. That is the word I was looking for. Reverse discrimination. We don't have to pay 5,000 to a student from Gatundu and then pay 50,000 to a student from Habaswein. It is unfair. Uh, it should be. Does the student need fair? Does the student need fees? Yes. How much can he pay? If he can pay whole, if he can pay half, you top up. If he can pay nothing, you pay everything. Because poor people are not just in ASAL areas. I've also noticed that such things, where does the money come from? The money comes from taxes. And for money to come from taxes, we should encourage people to like paying taxes. We should encourage people to paying taxes. But if we have to tell people that we pay fees for you because you are from a poor family, then it encourages people who can earn to evade taxes. That is tax evasion. And tax evasion will lead to less. On one hand, it will lead to less tax payment and more people lining up for bursaries. Someone came up, someone would come up with a system of, if a lot of people will evade paying taxes, and a lot of people will line up requesting for taxes. Why can't we encourage people to an extent that even if you make 50 shillings, you just pay to them, so that more people are paying taxes and fewer people are asking for bursaries. That is what we should encourage. Uh, don't you, I want to ask myself again, don't you think that these things are encouraging laziness and tax evasion? I think so. Why can't we have a situation like we used to have, where people are encouraged to produce funds and pay taxes? And then we go back to, well, that is where I started. We go back to where I said that uh, schools used to have, we used to have one central place where what do you call, bursaries used to come from, and that was the staff room. When teachers are in the staff room and are discussing, they just say, oh, this child is very bright, but every time kids are chased away for fees, is chased. If school fees can be found for such a person, these are the occasions when even rich people would be approached. The teachers would approach rich people, or even would recommend to bursaries that such and such a child is bright and needs bursary. Let us not discourage this tax evasion. People don't go to work on that day. They line up the whole day. People, when they earn, they cheat that they are poor, so that the 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 taxes are fewer. We get fewer taxes, while at the same time we get more people demanding bursaries. If we could find a way where we encourage people to work and create wealth and pay. You see, when we encourage them to create wealth, they pay more taxes and they demand less bursaries. And that is a win-win situation whereby genuine, genuine deserving cases are now paid for in full. Now, the way they are doing it, why should the government pay for each and every student 5,000? Why don't we, okay, if that is the case, why don't we now do what they did to the universities? Reduce all the university fees. They should even go to the school and say, instead of each and every student being given a bursary of 5,000, why don't we reduce school fees by 5,000? Yeah. Easy, isn't it? Just a very simple thing, and we are not seeing it.